Hello. Okay, next tutorial. This time I'm dressed up as one of the characters from the movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, or more specifically from the Red Spots segment. And this video is particularly special because it's in collaboration with Lionsgate and Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is so cool. When the movie came out, I obviously rushed to see it because I've always been a huge fan of the books. I actually went and saw it twice, as I remember. I just love so much how they stayed so true to Alvin Schwartz's original stories and Stephen Gamel's amazing original designs, those incredibly detailed and sketchy illustrations that are just, they were so iconic and so creepy. And I've always been a fan of the book, so this was just phenomenal. And without spoiling too much about the movie, the character basically gets a very tiny spot that grows and then suddenly bursts and a load of spiders come out. Yeah. So as you can imagine, the character goes through quite a few different makeups in the movie. So I thought I'd split them into 3 different makeups. Look 1, a nice simple pimple. Look 2, a giant pustule. And this makeup, look 3, where the pimple has burst and loads of tiny baby spiders have crawled out all across the face. Beautiful. So I just want to mention that Lionsgate's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is available now on digital download and 4K. It'll also be available on DVD and Blu-ray from November the 5th. And all that information will also be in the description bar below. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, I totally recommend you get it because it's so cool. So if you'd like to learn how to do this makeup, or the other 2 versions of this makeup that I also did in this video, stay tuned. So to start this video off, I'm going to start with the first makeup, which is going to be the small pimple or spot. So I'm going to take some liquid latex and a cotton bud. I'm going to dip the cotton bud into the latex so I have a very small amount on the end. And I'm just going to apply that in the area that I want on my face, pull it away, let it dry, and then repeat that process about 2 or 3 times until it's grown a nice round dome. So then we can begin the fun part, which is making the skin around the spot red. So for that, I'm going to be using a Crowell and Bruise wheel, which I'm going to be using for all of these makeups today. They're just really gorgeous creams. So I'm going to take this deep red from that palette and I'm going to colour really, really lightly around the spot, not touching the spot because we don't want to lift up any of the edges. And then blend that colour away by about half the spot's size. Then the last step really is to take this off yellow colour from the same bruise wheel and then just paint really lightly, we don't want to press too hard, on the actual latex spot itself. And there we go, that's pretty much it. I mean, you could add some more swelling around the edge of it, but then it would start looking bigger and bigger, and to be honest, I want to save that for the next step. But for now, if you wanted to do a simple looking spot, there you go. Well, I say simple, it's quite beastly, isn't it? So now, if you'd like to learn how to do the next stage of this pimple, stay tuned. So, to do the second stage of this pimple, I'm going to start it much the same way that I did the first look. I'm going to take some liquid latex on a cotton bud, and I'm just going to apply that in a circular motion in the same area, covering about 4 times the size of the original spot. So then we can start building this up to make it really large and bulbous. So I'm going to take some regular tissue paper. This is just regular toilet tissue paper. This is 2-ply, so I can just peel off the edge and then find the very corner and then just peel it away so that I have the single sheet, because it's much easier to work in the thinner halves. Then I'm going to take a really small amount of that tissue that's no bigger than the actual spot itself, and then just before the last layer of latex dries, I'm going to press that right in the middle, push it down, take some more latex on a cotton bud and then saturate the tissue. So I'm going to let that dry and then repeat the process probably about 8 times or so, getting a slightly bigger each time. The point is you want to make sure the middle is thicker than the edges so that you get a nice dome. Okay, so once you've built up enough layers, it should look something like this. So as you can see from the side, it does stick off quite a bit more than the previous one. So then again, I can take my Crowell and Bruise wheel and using the same 2 colours that I did before, the dark red and the off yellow, I can colour in the pimple in exactly the same way. So I'm going to take the red, apply that around the outside edge of the spot and then blend it towards the middle. Then I can take the yellow from the Bruise wheel and apply that in the centre and blend that out. So there we go, it's proper cartoony, but you get the idea. I did as a final step, but this is completely optional, take the red cream on a brush, dip it in water, and then quickly just spackle the colour going around the pimple, just to make it look like the infection is kind of spreading. So the final step will be the spider leg that's sticking out of the pimple. So for that, I got some really thin offcuts of card and I shaved them into a little spider leg shape. I don't know how well you can see that. As you can see, it's super fine, but I think it looks quite spidery. I also applied some hairspray over the top of it just to make it look shiny. So before I apply that, I'm just going to add a tiny little dot of the red cream just in the centre. Then I can take a small bit of spirit gum, pop it on the bottom of the leg, and then stick it right on top of that red dot. And there we go! One giant pimple with a spider leg sticking out of it. It's beautiful. So there we are! That's the second stage of my red spot makeup complete. If you'd like to learn how to do the third and final and most gory stage, stay tuned. So for the final stage of the red spot makeup, we're going to need to have a really large open wound, which is going to be done the same way that we did the second larger spot. We're going to take some liquid latex on a sponge, apply that roughly in the same areas before, except this time we're going to make it quite a bit bigger so that we can peel it back afterwards, and that there's going to be enough latex that there can be flaps either side, which sounds really lovely, but trust me. So I'm taking a regular sponge dipped in liquid latex, and I'm just going to apply that just on my cheek. Then as before with the second stage pimple, I'm going to take some tissue paper, which I've already separated, so I've got the thinner halves, and I'm going to work in quite large strips this time. About this size, no bigger than the actual spot area itself. Then I can take some latex on a sponge again, apply it over where I've already gone. Then I can take the tissue, pop that down, and then cover it again. So the idea is we're going to repeat this process around 4 or maybe 5 times, letting it dry in between. This is just so we can build it up, then peel it back so it looks like flaps of skin. So there we are. So once everything is applied and dried, we can now start peeling it apart. So I'm just going to poke a small hole in the centre with my fingernail and then pull the pieces apart. I want to try and make sure there's at least 3 or 4 little flaps around the edge. Okay, so it gives a nice illusion that something is trying to burst out of the face. So then, taking my Crowell and Bruise Wool again and the same red and off yellow creams, I'm going to apply both of them sporadically going around the edge of the latex. Then to break up the complexion and add some blood splatter and some broken capillaries, I'm going to do the same effect that I did for the second stage of the spot, which is take a brush loaded with the red cream, dip it in some water, and then I can spackle the colour back and forth all the way around the edge of this wound. Then I'm going to colour the inside of the wound with the undiluted red cream. Then the next step is kind of optional, it's up to you. I like doing a bruised eye underneath both eyes whenever I do this kind of trauma makeup, just because it makes the whole thing really come together. And that's super simple to do. I'm just going to take the dark blue black from this cream palette, and I'm going to apply that underneath both my eyes, scoring downwards, blending it upwards, not downwards. We want there to be a fairly harsh edge underneath the eyes, kind of where the eye bags end. And I'm also going to apply that to the edge of my eyelids and then blend that colour away. And then I'm just going to take the red cream again and apply that in the same areas as the black, but blend it further. Then we can work on the fun part, which is the fake blood. So I'm going to be using my favourite fake blood, which is Superstar's Stage Blood. I'm going to apply that just in the very centre of the wound. And then doing the same method with the cream and the water, I'm going to dip the makeup brush in the blood, then dip it in some water and then spackle it going across the face, not just in this area. I want it to go across this entire side of my face. So then, onto the really fun part. I might have gone a bit overboard here, but bear with me. So I went online shopping for spiders, and I may have bought a few too many. I think I've actually got 450 here. Yeah. I'm not going to use that many, obviously. But the point is, I got a few different sizes just so I could switch it up a little bit. So I got some teeny tiny spiders, which are no more than 1.5 centimetres wide. I got some medium-sized spiders, which are 2.5 centimetres wide. And I also got a bag of big spiders. Yeah! So the idea behind these is I'm going to take some spirit gum, apply it to their little booties, technical term, abdomens, that's the one, apply it just to the underside of them, let it go tacky for a couple of seconds, and then stick them going all up the side of my face. So take your time with this and just start sticking them in a random pattern facing all different directions. So next, I'm just going to take the fake blood again and apply that to the fake skin flaps. I'm also going to do teeny tiny little footprints behind each one with the fake blood, just behind each one to make it look like they're kind of walking the blood around. That might be a little bit overkill, but I think it'll be sweet. I'm also going to do a little bit of blood coming down the nose, just because, I mean, that much trauma to that side of the face has to cause some kind of broken capillary or something, doesn't it? It also kind of looks like the spiders have crawled out the nose as well. So then the final step really is to apply some more fake spiders to my neck, pop some blood around them, and I do believe the look's complete. And there we go! That's my third and final look, officially complete. So I finished the look, as I said, by applying some more spiders and blood down my neck. I also popped in a sclera contact lens, which is completely optional. I just think it adds to the creepiness. And yeah, so that's my tutorials complete. I really hope you all enjoyed these makeups. I had so much fun doing them. And considering I'm quite scared of spiders, I've done quite well. So I really hope you all enjoyed my take on this makeup. I thought splitting it up into 3 separate makeups might make it a lot more fun to do. That way you can choose which stage of the red spot you would like to be. And I want to thank Lionsgate for the opportunity to do this video. I know I've said it already, but I had so much fun. So thanks everyone so much for watching this video. If you haven't seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark yet, I definitely recommend it. It's incredibly inspiring in terms of the makeup alone. I will pop all the information about where you can buy the film in the video description below, so definitely sure to check that out if you get a chance. And yeah, so thanks again for watching. If you like this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe and all that jazz. And yeah, so until next time, bye fluffies!